Hi, and welcome to the lecture on basic essay structure. What is an essay? An essay is the collection of paragraphs that focuses on a single topic, presents a thesis, implied or direct, and looks to inform or persuade a reader. Students write essays in college for many subjects, not just English classes. Essays involve critical thinking about a topic. These skills transfer to the real world and issues such as writing a letter or even arguing orally for a raise from your boss. There are several parts of an essay. A basic essay contains an introduction paragraph, multiple body paragraphs, and a conclusion. An introduction is the first paragraph of an essay. Its purpose is to ease the reader into the topic. There are several strategies that a writer might use for introduction paragraphs. A writer may offer background information, may relate a story or an anecdote, may ask rhetorical questions. An introduction contains a thesis statement. A thesis statement is the main idea or the overall point of the essay. A thesis statement is a complete sentence or sentences. It's not a question. It usually falls at the end of the introduction paragraph. Usually is directly stated, although may be implied, depending on the prompt. A thesis may have points, mapping, or no points, general. Let's look at some example thesis statements. Social media sites have many positive uses for college students. Cats and dogs are different in many ways. Studying daily and attending class regularly are two ways to ensure a student is successful in school. All three of these are examples of thesis statements because the writer is trying to convey a point or a position. The first example is suggesting that social media sites are positive for college students. It's an argument. The second one talks about cats and dogs and discussing how they're different in many ways. This would be a contrast essay. And then finally, studying daily and attending class, the writer is arguing, are two ways to ensure a student is successful in school. The first two thesis statements are general or no points thesis. This third one is a mapping or a points thesis. Once you've established a thesis statement, now is the time to write body paragraphs. Body paragraphs follow the introduction. Their job is to support the thesis, points or no points. Body paragraphs have topic sentences, one topic sentence per body paragraph. And body paragraphs offer support. There are two types, major and there's minor details that prove topic sentences. Let's look at the differences and similarities between topic sentences and thesis statements. A topic sentence is the main idea of a body paragraph, whereas a thesis statement is the main idea of the essay. Topic sentences usually appear at the beginning of a body paragraph, whereas a thesis statement usually appears at the end of the introduction paragraph in an essay. Topic sentences focus on one single point to prove its thesis, whereas thesis statements focus on one main argument or point. Let's look at the differences between body paragraphs and essays. A body paragraph contains a topic sentence, which is the main idea of the paragraph. An essay contains a thesis statement, which is the main idea of the essay, and that main idea is carried through the essay. Body paragraphs have sentences within them, and each of those sentences support the topic sentence, creating unity. Each body paragraph in an essay proves one main point of the thesis. Body paragraphs must also stay unified and continue to prove the thesis. And there are three parts of a paragraph. There are topic, supporting, and summary sentences. Similarly, there are three parts of an essay: an introduction, body, and conclusion paragraphs. Let's look at the body paragraph parts. Body paragraphs have a topic sentence. A topic sentence contains two parts of it. It's the topic and the point the writer is trying to make. Body paragraphs contain major details and minor details. Major details are sentences that support the topic sentence. Minor details are sentences that support the major detail sentences. Body paragraphs also contain summary sentences. A summary sentence concludes the paragraph. You can do it in many ways. You can summarize the content or connect to the next paragraph in seg sentences. Let's look at an outline of a body paragraph. Body paragraph contains the topic sentence, which is typically the opening sentence. Then you begin with the major detail number 1, stating the first point to prove the topic sentence. What follows the major detail are minor details. Usually you spend several sentences discussing major detail number 1 in depth. When you're ready to move on, you move on to major detail number 2. You state a second point that proves the topic sentence, following it up with minor details, several sentences that discuss major detail number 2. You may continue with major detail 3, depending on the length of your paragraph and the content. Then you have a summary sentence. A conclusion paragraph is the last paragraph of an essay. Its purpose is to offer a graceful end to the essay. There are several strategies that writers might employ to end an essay. A writer may summarize the points of the essay. A writer may look to tell a story or an anecdote. One can look to the future of the topic or offer solutions. These are strategies for writing conclusion paragraphs, and they ultimately depend on the topic for which you are given. In the conclusion paragraph, a thesis statement is restated. It reminds the reader what was accomplished, and always avoid introducing any new information or statistics in a conclusion. Let's take a look at an example essay. Here is an example essay titled "Not So Super Supervisors." In this essay, the writer is using classification to discuss the types of supervisors that one might encounter in a job. We're going to kind of scroll through this essay a little bit to notice that it has multiple paragraphs. We have an introduction paragraph noted by the indentation. Another indentation identifies the first body paragraph, and a second body paragraph, and a third body paragraph. And then we have a conclusion paragraph. This essay has a thesis statement, which is underlined. It is using a specific type of introduction strategy, giving us some background information, an anecdote about jobs. The writer begins her first body paragraph with a topic sentence, talks about a narcissist as a type of supervisor, gives us two different kinds of examples of narcissism in supervisors, leads us into the second body paragraph, which is the second type of supervisor, the delegator, and then a third type of supervisor, which is the bully. Each of these body paragraphs have both major and minor details. to support the topic sentences, which topic sentences support the thesis statements. And finally, the writer has a conclusion paragraph. Underlined is the restated thesis statements and giving us advice or looking to the future if you ever encounter a supervisor that's not so super. By doing this, the writer has written a complete essay. And this is the end of the lecture on basic essay structure.